that's the theme song that I created. NBD, you guys with me today. You guys were so pumped about this guest. And I'm excited to have her because, you know, I don't want to be the podcast that like just has other comics on. So I went totally outside of the box.
You're saying I'm not a comic.
You're not a comic, but you're a comedic actress.
I'm definitely not a comic.
And you're pretty and you're younger than me, which is great. You guys, Emily Osment is here on the podcast.
Hello.
So we know each other because my neighbor was Jonathan Sadowski, who starred with you on Young and Hungry.
Right.
And
is that how we... I was actually thinking about that on the way over here. I was like, how did we meet?
You were a fan of mine.
That's what it was.
I
knew that part.
And then, so we met like a couple times, and you were so lovely and gracious to do this podcast. So when we were culling all the questions from the fans for this episode, a couple people... Now, this is going to sound irritating to you, but here are the fresh eyes that I looked at this with. A couple of people were like, did she see dead people?
Oh, right.
Wait, like her brother. And I thought to myself, I was like, oh, is her brother like a medium? I did not put two and two together that your brother's Haley Joel Osment. It never occurred to me. I figured Osment's like a normal white person last name that a lot of people have.
It's like, I think it's Swedish and German. I think there's like one other person with my exact name on the planet.
I guess maybe I'm thinking of Osmond, but...
Osmond, which many people think I'm related to Donnie and Marie. And then I'll do an interview and they'll open with like, how's Donnie and Marie? And I'm like, oh, you're joking. And they're like, we have no other material because we thought you were related to them and we don't know what to ask you about.
Well, at least you get that versus, is it Sulsinger? Schlesinger? I don't know. I hate Jews.
Oh, God.
That's what that comes down to.
Well, naturally.
So I'm not going to ask you anything about it. I had no... So I was like, oh, she'll probably appreciate that I'm not friends with her because of that.
Oh, yeah. Well, because I was trying to think of I think I came to a show. I think that was the first time that I met you because I'd heard about you from Jamie and from Michael and obviously from Jonathan. But I think you did a show, I think at the Comedy Store, and I came to that, and I think that's the first time I met you.
That sounds about right. So now we're friends, and you're famous, and you are right now, and we're going to plug all this at the end, but you are on the Kominsky Method, which is on Netflix.
Yay!
It's got Michael Douglas, Alan Arkin. Y'all, it is. I was exhausted and jet lagged, and I watched 2 episodes of it last night. So nice. And it's fun, and everybody's a great actor in it, and you are so adorable.
Thank you.
I love your face. I want to squeeze your perfect little face. So we're going to get to it because people have some serious questions. Some might bother you. Don't strike me as the type of girl that's bothered, at least visibly, because you've been doing this for so long. What is your favorite look you've worn on Young and Hungry?
Let me scan back through 100 episodes.
As I asked that, I was like, well, it's a normal clothed. It's not like Game of Thrones.
Right.
Like, my leather vest.
We actually had a couple different stylists do that show, and all of them were wonderful. I remember specifically probably the coolest thing I wore was an episode. We had Betty White do a couple episodes, which was really cool. And we had an episode where she has this old wedding dress, and she lives downstairs from me magically. And she has this magic wedding dress that she puts on if she ever needs good luck or something. And I'm like trying to...
What?
And I'm like trying to figure out like if I'm supposed to be with the right person. And she's like, put on the dress, and you'll figure it out. And so I put on Betty White's wedding dress, and then Jonathan sees me through the window and is like, oh my God, she wants to marry me. And so,
so that's it.
That's it. So I think that was probably cool because I got to share a piece of wardrobe with Betty, which was awesome.
See, you guys asked that question thinking she'd be like, oh, I had a tan jacket. And that's like a thoughtful answer. They also want to know if
I do like all my tan jackets that I did wear a lot of jackets that were very cute.
Yeah, tan's a tough color to pull off. I also forgot to say that was Glass of Pilk who asked that. And now, sorry, I've been away for so long, and now I'm ready to do this podcast. At Caitlin Banks said, if you had to be stranded on an island with a character you've played, who would you choose? And I know that that's directed at you, not me, because I've been cast in like one thing ever. So that's obviously a question for you.
A character that I've played...
Stranded on an island with them, so I guess that character is just there.
So I feel like every time you play a character, you bring a little bit of yourself to a role. So I feel like I would not be like down to hang out with myself on an island forever.
Actor's answer.
But I think maybe I'm trying to think. I think Gabby from Young and Hungry would get really, really annoying very fast. So I'm going to say no to that. I think. The most normal character I think I've played is probably the one in Kominsky. She's just kind of like a shy wannabe actor girl, and she just is very normal and just she's very bright-eyed, and I think that would that would be endearing to hang out with a person like that. I guess
Bright-eyed wouldn't bother you.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know how to make a fire. I'd be like, oh, how cute.
yeah, maybe we'd fall in love. Then it would be like, then we'd have like a romance on an island with myself. Well, this is a weird like Twilight Zone episode.
I'm just giving you enough rope to hang yourself with. No. All right, next question. And we can both talk about this one. At J Muchow, J Muchow, 617. As blonde women, do you feel it's harder harder to be taken seriously? I feel there's a stereotype, especially in professional environments. Even though I act in a professional manner in my job, I still feel there's a stigma against blondes, and I have to prove myself more.
Truth, go.
I thought J Muchow 617 was a dude, first of all, and I thought you were setting me up. First of all, very few of us are natural blonde. You might be a natural blonde. I mean, I was like born blonde, but like I have to like do some maintenance.
I do some maintenance.
We all do. Blonde is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever people make those dumb blonde jokes, I'm like, oh, you're talking about brunettes that dye their hair blonde.
Wait, I never thought of that. That's great.
It's a choice. It's not like a birthmark.
Sure.
But I do think blonde, and look, like my mom the other day was like, why don't you do darker hair with some highlights? And I was like, why don't I just kill myself?
Yeah, no.
I'm
a blonde.
I'm a blonde. And I love being a blonde, and I think brunettes are always like, I love being brunette. I'm like, because you're evil.
Yeah.
I love having blonde hair. People go back and they vacillate with hair color.
Yeah.
I do think it is. We have a predisposition. You see blonde, you think dumb because of the jokes.
Sure.
And because it's a very fun, flirty, like gentlemen prefer blondes. Like it's so rooted in that.
Yeah. I do like, as I'm sure you can agree with, being not what people expect from a blonde. And we come out of the gate like, I'm not taking your shit kind of thing, which I feel like is unexpected for a nice blonde in Los Angeles.
Yeah, or a woman in general, but definitely a blonde.
Yeah.
You on your hashtag dating horror stories, right? You had this thing that went viral. People were like, it's so bold and she's just doing it. You're like, you were chronicling horrible dating experiences you've had. But, and not to take away from it, most women have had those experiences. And you were like, I'm just being honest.
Normalizing it.
Yeah, and you had one where like some guy had a Kafka book on his shelf and you were like, oh, Kafka, good read. And he was like, oh, so you're actually smart.
Yeah, I love that he said actually. I'll never forget that. He was like, wow, you're like actually, there was a pause. Wow, you're like actually smart.
Yeah, because I read that tweet.
Wow.
And I first read it and I was like, oh, people think that about me all the time, that I'm smart. And then I was like, no, he put actually.
Actually.
So he can go fuck himself.
Yes, he can. It's all right. He just got married, so yeah.
Oh, that guy. Oh, you kept up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's a little hard in LA to not sort of have things. You hear things get around, and you're like, oh, nice.
Oh,
okay.
that person.
And I don't look for it. It happens. Happens in front of me.
It finds you.
It does.
I also found it interesting do you use Venmo?
I do, yeah.
I don't know why, and my profile's private, but like I see every person I've ever met, I can look at their transactions.
Isn't that such a telling thing? What people spend money on?
Oh, interesting.
It's a really interesting thing. Like, I was trying to find someone the other day to send them money for lunch or something, and we weren't friends on Venmo. And I remember going through and being like, oh, that's what you spend your money. You know, it was interesting.
That's like a different kind of stalking then, like a new way to do it.
Oh yeah.
I don't like it. I don't want people to see me. And I guess to me, it's a signifier of like where I am in life. I'm like, oh, these 3 comics that I started with are still Venmoing each other for like a hike they went on and I have to see it.
Wait, since when do hikes cost money?
I don't know. Maybe it's for like a snack, like an
or maybe like
hike.
Parking.
Snack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not seeing, like, major celebrities on there, so...
Yeah, I know, it's fine. I always do... I never write what it actually is. I always do a code of some kind.
Never. I'm the idiot that's like, butt cream. Sorry about your dick. Hunter, here's $20. It's so stupid. This is an interesting one. At Ambart11 asks you... This is obvious. She's for Emily, as if this could ever be applied to me. How were you able to evolve from being a child actor to more adult roles without having to make a statement like many do?
Wow, that's such an odd question. I don't know.
The statement makes me laugh.
What would my statement be?
Like, I'm doing a nude scene. Please don't look at me like I'm a 10-year-old.
Oh, yeah. No, I just feel like, I aged.
You just took your gigs.
I just aged, and I like chose things that I wanted to do, and didn't choose things I didn't want to do, and I don't know. I feel like I did kind of. I left I went to college, and I like kind of peaced out for a second.
Yeah.
I guess that was kind of my statement. But then I like came back and was like, yo, I'm back. Let's go.
I think people always expect child actors to be absolute whack jobs.
Yeah. Well, we are pretty weird, but we're like a
Sure.
fun weird.
It's a fun weird.
Yeah.
A fun let's call the cops in the middle of the night kind of weird.
Yeah, sure.
But the statement thing, I guess the statement's more, I think people issue statements when it's like, look, I'm not asking to be your kid's role model.
Right.
I fucking drink.
Yeah, I do. I think it's I never felt like I had to make a statement because I have, well, to backtrack, I have a really big family, and my mom has 7 brothers and sisters, and my dad has 5, and they all have children. So I've got a million first cousins that are much younger than me most of the time.
Is it too much?
Yeah, it's a few. Like I could lose a few. I'm just kidding. But I've got a really big family, and so I grew up like with my mom always being a role model for them. So like that'll never change. Like I've got little cousins that I adore that like I don't want to post me like, you know,
right,
going ham doing something I shouldn't when I know that they're watching.
Fair enough. But that's
so,
an obligation you feel personally toward your family versus
yeah,
like.
and that kind of carries over into like, well, there's a bunch of kids that used to watch Hannah Montana. I don't want to scare them.
But also, like, you're not that person. Like, if you were that person, then you would be that person.
Sure.
But it's all like, we all do things in the dark. And I think the line between, like, total crazy person addict and, like, other is that you're like, oh, this, I should cloak this.
Or, yeah, what to share and what not to share, I think, is something that you learn very quickly. And if you don't, it's like, oh, man.
And it is a sliding goalpost.
Yeah.
Is that anything? Like what we become okay with.
Yeah.
And it's all just like interesting, like where my line is and like where that moves. And like I never said the word shit. I would never say that word. And then a couple years ago, I was like, it's kind of a funny word.
Yeah.
And then I see other women that like I was at the gynecologist. Here's a picture of that sonogram, and I'm like, I wouldn't do that, but maybe I would want. It's also like, how much do you need that attention?
And also, I think it's more interesting if people don't know everything about you.
You're absolutely right.
Because like I've been on, like, I'm single, and I've been on a couple dates with a couple people, and they're like, oh, I saw online that blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, I would have liked to tell you that. And also, please don't Google me.
Please don't Google me.
Yeah.
My now husband did not. He was like, I didn't want to do that.
Cool.
And I was like, yeah, because there is that. I have friends who have, like, famous ex-wives. And, like, I even know better than to be like, what was that like?
Yeah.
It's just so... If they didn't put, I don't know, and just because you are famous, there's a question in here about that. Somebody asks you about people treating you differently. Like, what's something that people should know about famous people? And are they different? Are they not different than other people?
It's odd. It's like I don't know. I don't treat people who have different careers than me differently. It's like, it's just like, it's a thing that I do.
Because you are famous, though. So I think people, when they're not famous, they're like, you know, are you actually like me? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also no.
But also, I'm way cooler.
Way cooler. No, but it's it is weird.
It is odd, and it's almost like I don't know. And especially in Los Angeles, like everybody walks around with like a certain entitlement that they are someone, and sometimes they are, and sometimes they aren't.
Yeah.
And I feel like meeting new people, whether they're I meet a lot of people through my brother, because I'll be in an audition room and like 5 people will stand up and be like, oh my God, I know your brother. And I'm lucky that Haley's magnificent and a very nice guy and has a lot of really good friends. But I meet a lot of people like that, and they see that as a connection of like, oh, you know that other famous person that I know. And it's like everybody's trying to find the link to say how to introduce themselves.
They're
it's
also
like,
trying to find a link that will help them get more famous.
It's odd.
Like, can you help me? Is the subtext of everything.
Yeah.
I always feel like people always reach out, and I'm like, I can't make me famous. How am I going to make you famous? This is not gonna.
Well, at least you could try. Gosh,
I could try. I could do the best. I could do the best I can. We'll take a couple more questions, because you were talking about dating horror story. I was talking about it on Twitter. Somebody says. 73 Penny Lane says, hey, Emily, I stumbled across your dating horror stories on Twitter the other day, and I thought they were so funny. I was just wondering what an automatic, laugh at your pain.
Thanks, laugh at my pain, thanks.
What an automatic first date deal breaker would be for you. Like something specific to you that just gets under your skin.
Oh, wow. There's so many, though.
There's
so many. I actually went over this with my friend Avery. I was on the phone with her last night, and we were talking about, we were like decompressing after like a weekend we had together.
Where'd you have that?
We went to...
Sorry.
We had a... there's this... I don't want to say it, but there's a... There's like a really cool bar that I go to that plays really good music.
It is cool, you guys.
It's great.
And you can't get in.
You can't get in. No, but it only plays music before 1970, and it's really fun. And we were sort of going over like all the people that we saw there and how immediately when you look at someone, you're like, oh no. Like, but it's funny. It's like an instant like, oh, the shoes, I can't. Or like the beard, the type of beard you have or something. And it's
Absolutely.
like an odd thing you do and you don't realize you do it. And I realized after going on a couple dates to that place, how important it was to me to date someone who could dance. I didn't realize how important that was because I love to dance.
That's a priority?
Yeah, I feel like I love to go out and I like to have a good time and I like to dance. And if a guy's like, oh, and I dated someone for a long time who like, we went to a lot of weddings together and I was always dancing
or wouldn't
alone.
dance? That's what it is.
Wouldn't and couldn't. Even a little of both. Just like wouldn't make an effort and like was embarrassed. And it's like, oh no, like I'm unabashedly like I'm not afraid to get up there and make an idiot of myself. And like I kind of want someone to be there with me to do that. And it's kind of fun to go out and dance with somebody. And I didn't realize how important that was to me.
I think
above like,
it speaks more to like you want that partner in crime. Like that's what that signifies to you. It's like I want someone that's right there with me doing that.
Yeah.
You don't want the guy that's like, I'll just, that's weird.
Just
I
watch.
can't.
Yeah, you tell the story. It's like, no, I want,
So first date, if he doesn't dance, you're like, that means you're unwilling.
Not like at the dinner table, but like, yeah, a personality that's like, sure, I'll chime in and do what you're doing. Also, like, the obvious like religion and politics thing is important, but yeah.
Right. No, we don't have to get into what it is you do or don't believe, but yeah, you have to see eye to eye.
That is important to me. Politics very much so. I don't know if I could ever date someone who had a vastly different view than I did on.
You're like, I want that wall. I want it to go up right now.
Right now.
Right now. I also think like things are deal breakers, but then you meet someone like if someone was hot enough but had bad fingernails, you'd be like, okay, like Jared Leto had bad fingernails, you'd be like, whatever.
Fingernails, yeah.
But you let it go if everything else was great.
Yeah.
Although, I think, but then there's things you have to look at, like bad teeth. It's like I can't get past that. Like you can't be hot with bad teeth.
No, I'm trying to think of an example. I can't. No,
I don't want to call them out. So piggybacking off of that, which I hate, at BBY King Trashmouth, which
great name,
and it's a girl. This was an interesting one, and then I tried to look her up online, and her profile was private because I was going to be like, no, you're a pretty girl, but I couldn't. It was private. How do I deal with my boyfriend being out of my league? And then she puts in parentheses, I mean, I am funnier.
What? Well, that makes me want to be like, call her up and be like, what? Why are we insecure?
That just should be a call-in show.
Yeah, like why? Why do you think that? I've never thought about like, oh, I want to date someone that's out of my league or in or below, or so I look better if they're not. It's like it's not about. I don't even know how to qualify that.
I also feel leagues only apply to men when complimenting a woman. Like she's out of your league, bro.
That's true. I never see it the other way.
You never hear women like because you're not allowed to insult women in this like newfound era of feminism.
Yeah.
You're never allowed to say like, oh, you're a trash mouth and he's out of your league. Because the idea is like as a woman, you can like My Fair Lady, Made in Manhattan. Like the idea is like whatever you are, you can date up.
Yeah.
Because you're a woman. I think you're saying he's hotter than you. That's what I think she's saying.
Huh.
And I think I've dated dudes that are hotter than me. And I was like, I'm funnier and I have more money. So that's how I do it.
preaching to my choir.
There is no league. That's a very like early 20s thing too, which I think you're like 25?
26. Yeah.
26.
Yeah.
Okay, I was secretly hoping you'd be like, I'm 30, and that's so sweet. And it turned out you were
no, I'm
just
27
as young as I thought.
in 4 months.
Oh my God, congrats. If you think that, he's going to leave you.
Yeah. And then you're constantly going to be like, who are all these girls who are hotter than me, like hitting on my hot boyfriend? It's like,
yeah,
that's a waste of time.
It's always going to happen.
Yeah.
If you have a hot boyfriend.
It's going to happen.
And like then at the other side of her, I'm just like, oh my God, well, he loves you not for your looks, but your personality, which is stronger, which is awful. You also might be pretty and just
we want to see what you look like, so we can judge you.
It's blocked, but her eyes seem pretty.
Oh, great.
He's not out of your league.
Yeah, no, he's not. Don't think of it like that.
Also, think about like all the retarded hot dudes. So if we're just going on looks, then like what is that? He's not out of your league.
Yeah, well, just come to LA.
Come to L League. Come to L League. L League. All right. And somebody says, I want to ask, how do you and Emily, and I don't know if they meant this Emily or assistant Emily, but I'm going to go with you. How do you and Emily deal with negativity in your lives? I hate that question. Oh, I'm sorry. At Kevin Angry Skates. Kevin and an Angry Skates.
I asked that person to not hang out with me anymore.
Is it a person
It's
or
usually in the form of a person, I feel like.
you feel like it's not like online necessarily? Because I read a lot of mean things about you online.
You did?
I wrote them down.
Really?
No.
Oh, I
But
was like,
you
I want
were-
to read them.
You didn't miss a beat.
I want to know what they are.
You were like, I have a publicist. I am not letting that get to me.
I don't right now. I just like combat them myself usually. My favorite thing to do with people who are rude online is to correct their grammar back at them. And just be like,
Sure.
Have a nice day. I feel like that's the most easy way to just, and also like, who cares?
There is who cares, and I've talked about this before. Like, there are days though where like the one thing someone says the one thing, and you're like, "Fuck you!" Like, I just woke up, gotta read your shit because you hate your life.
Yeah.
Most people, it's the negativity thing. Is just like, who cares? And cut them out of your life.
Yeah, and cut them out of your life. I was talking about that with my friend Ryan recently because I did a Hallmark movie with him that's coming out in a couple weeks actually, and
Which is called?
it's called Christmas Wonderland. It's great. It's coming out.
It's about Jews.
It's December 1st on Hallmark Channel. It's gonna be great. But this guy Ryan Rotman is lovely. We've like known of each other for like a few years now, and had never really hung out or met. And then we both got this movie and spent 3 weeks in Utah just being idiots, and it was really fun. And I asked him one night. I was like, so, like, we have kind of a lot of the same friends. Like, what did you, like, hear about me before you did this movie? Like,
It's a bold question.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm never not bold. I was like, so what's the tea? Like, tell me what do people say? And he was like, I haven't heard anything about you. And I was like, yes. Because I feel like if you have nothing, if no one can be like, oh, that's that girl that blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Then you're probably okay. I'm like, all right. So there's no, which is like, oh, man, no one's got anything.
Well, you're already ahead of the game because you're like, oh, that's so great. I'd be like, no one's saying anything at all?
Sometimes it's better because it means that people don't say stuff if it's nice. People only say things if it's negative and they want to like have some gossip on you. And
But
he's
what
like,
about there's no such thing as bad publicity? What about that school
I
of
feel like
thought?
there is. Maybe.
There's really bad. Like if you drive the wrong way on the 405, like
that's
really
real
bad publicity.
That's real bad.
That's only what people who have really good publicity say. That there's no bad. It's just like it's because you're overwhelmed. If all you're getting is negative, like then you're getting demoted.
True.
From A-list to garbage
What's the
list.
thing that do you have something online that you read and you're just like really that's what you're gonna?
You know what happened? After my not this special, but the last one, some random interviewer from some outlet decided to phrase a question in a really offensive way, and she was like, she wrote something about me that like said that I was racist and mean, like all these horrible things that it was like a straw man argument, like she made it up. Like, it would be like if in this interview now, and I'm just like, so, like, I hear you don't, like, love black people. And you'd be like, what are you talking? I've never said that.
Yeah.
But because I said it to you as part of the interview, it then becomes a thing.
Yeah.
Please don't transcribe this. So then another interviewer was like, some people have said your act is racist. And I was like, stop. One girl said that because she had an issue with me, like, woman, because she just didn't like me.
Sure.
But now it's a thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that bothers me that like fake journalism begets shittier journalism. And that I've never heard about it again, and I squashed it. I was like, that's not a real quote or interview. She made that up. That's a woman that hates me because I'm doing well.
Right.
That bothered me. So I don't know if it's out there. I mean, you can't control it.
Yeah, you can't.
And you are an actor, so you aren't, like, it's just to say responsible for the words. Like, if you act and you do a part and that character says something bad, like, you won't be held accountable.
Exactly.
I would for stand-up.
Right. I feel like there's definitely more pressure in your career to sort of walk the line of, like, this is really funny and it might offend, but I don't really care and this is going to land. But
yeah. And then you have to worry about people I've talked about, like, just weak people being like, that hurt my feelings. I hope you get caught on fire. We hate you. People are wounded and mean. I feel like I have like a lump in my face.
I read this thing online the other day about the quality of life of different countries, and like one is the quality of life in Canada. I don't know how they assess this, but the quality of life in Canada is apparently number
With
one.
a dipstick.
And then it's like Canada, Sweden, Germany, Russia, and then like the U.S. is like 17.
I actually believe
something.
I read the same thing. I think it's Denmark. That's number
Denmark.
one.
Oh,
Or not Denmark. Like Norway.
Norway.
It's like up there. Like they're just like we're all
Scandinavian
yes
countries,
and the U.S. is like below Haiti.
Sure. Yeah.
Like it's just. That's because we're all obsessed with working. We also have more people here, so it's diluted. Whoever is happy.
Yeah.
But let's talk about things that do make us happy.
Yay.
Who would win in a fight? Kings Not Goblin asks, you or me? I think you.
What kind of fight, though?
Like probably a physical
verbal
fight.
fight or a physical fight?
Here's why I think you would win in a physical fight.
Okay, I'm scrappy.
I'm assuming you're scrappy. I believe under this adorable exterior and like really perfect skin.
I'll cut a bitch.
I do think that. I think you have a crazy gene in you. Like a crazy, like that, like cheerleader gene.
Oh, that'd be a fun character to play. Yeah,
Like
just a little snapped.
Yeah, that's right there. Yeah. What was the movie what was the HBO thing? Sharp Objects. Did you watch Sharp Objects?
I loved that.
Remember how the sister turned out to be a serial killer?
Yes,
that's you.
God, she was so good in that. Thank you. I'm 2-dimensional.
I thought about it, and I was like, I don't know her well, but any girl that looks like you do, which is like perfect, adorable face.
That's very nice.
And like that, under it, there's something. Even though you've never, right?
No.
Also, like, am I a monster? If I'm like, I would win. I'm stronger than you.
I feel like you are stronger than me. I think are you taller than me? I think you're taller than me.
Probably.
But I'm very
not
small. I don't know how it I'm like 5'2".
I'm definitely taller than 5'2",
Yeah.
but not by much.
Okay.
But that's also, I respect that question because it wasn't a girly question. Like, he didn't say cat fight. He was like
who would
blood
like
sport?
Yeah.
I don't want to think about hurting
Let's
my friends. Essa D Trades says, what's something that will always be in fashion no matter how much time passes?
White t-shirt and jeans.
Ooh, absolutely.
I think that will always be something that also just because it's my go-to like every day.
Yeah. White t-shirt, classic.
Classic. It's white t-shirt and jeans, guys and girls.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Since the 50s, it's been in style.
Yeah, ooh, men really killed it in the 50s with the white t-shirt. It just makes me think of Grease.
Yeah, for sure. Which is how I feel when I put on a white t-shirt and jeans. I'm
Yes.
like, do I
John
look like Danny
Travolta.
Zuko? Yeah, totally. But that's also how I feel when I do black leggings. I'm like, oh, am I too sandy at the end of Grease?
Oh, you can just do both in one day. I have been doing the black leggings with like Nikes and a sweatshirt. I think I've been wearing that every day for the past 3 weeks.
I was going to say 3 years.
I don't know why I'm single, but I just think that might be why.
No, that's the look.
The
That's
same sweatshirt every day. It's not even mine. I think I stole it from a friend.
Oh, those are the best.
I know, because they're kind of worn in and like soft, and you're like, somebody. That's why I like shopping for jeans at like Crossroads or like secondhand places because they're like you don't have the wear in time, and they fit differently. If you try on jeans that have been like through a couple bodies, which is gross, whatever, but like it kind of like it's already taken shape, and then they're like, oh, these will fit forever.
But what if it's their shape and they got a weird butt?
It's like the sisterhood of the traveling butt shape.
There's no way those girls wore the same pants.
There's no way.
Like that's insane. Here's my thing. I love a good vintage t-shirt. And I hear what you're saying about Crossroads and all those places. I think trying on jeans should be an Olympic sport. Like, it's exhausting. It's so hard. No matter where you go. I was in Scotland last week and I went to a vintage store. All vintage stores anywhere in the world smell the same.
Yeah.
And I don't like the smell.
There's a vintage store in North Hollywood called like Iguana or something. I think they're a chain. There's a couple of them, but there's one in North Hollywood too. And I remember I went in there. I was looking for like a Halloween costume or something. And I went in there and I was eating an apple. And the woman like stopped me at the door with her hand and was like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. You cannot eat in here. And I was like, all of these shirts that have been sweat in and had drugs from the 70s spilled all over them. Like, I can't eat my apple in your store. Really?
Oh, your answer wasn't, I'm on TV. Don't fucking touch me.
It is funny to see like people who are initially rude and then like, they're like, they're like, oh, wait, I know you. And then they're immediately nice. It's like, all right, well.
Oh, it's like Pretty Woman, but you didn't want to shop. You didn't want the commission. You just wanted to eat your apple. Yeah. My answer for that is what will be in fashion. Initially, I thought sartorially, and I was like, oh, what's a good clothing answer? Sorry. And then I was like, attitude will always be in fashion.
Oh, yeah.
But my answer is pigtails, and here's why. Men will never not have creepy fetishes about fucking children.
What is it? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it is. And so it will always, if it involves male boners and being creeps, it'll always be in. Like, pigtails are always acceptable if done in the right light, not for like
God, I never
the
thought
Met
about
Gala.
it in like a kid way. Yeah.
That's what you need to do. You need to switch that thinking.
All right, that's what it is.
Think only about pedophiles. Next question. This is a random one, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm asking anyway.
Okay.
Kyle O says, did you get to keep any Spy Kids gadgets?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, yes, kind of. There was like a few things here and there. There was like a really cool backpack that I wore in every scene that I got to keep. But The cool thing was the wrap gift that we got. This was a Robert Rodriguez movie, and he, for the cast, as our cast gift, he hired an engineer of some kind to come in and teach us how to build our own desktop computer.
Okay.
It was like, what?
Is that cool, or is that like a
It was
a
the
long lesson?
most bizarre thing in the whole world, but I had it and it worked. It was like a desktop computer that I used in like elementary school. I remember it was very, very strange. Creative.
Oh, for kids. Sorry,
kids.
that just clicked for me.
Yeah, I was like 9. Yeah.
I was like, how many like circuit boards and
Yeah,
rewiring?
no,
Okay.
it was like, here, connect this wire, and then you put the face on, and then now you have a computer. It was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
That is cool. That is cool.
So I got to keep that.
Yeah, usually, folks, you don't get to keep your stuff from set.
No, it's funny how, and oh man, if I do something and like there's one pair of shoes and I'm like, oh man, at the end of this,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and then I'll drop hints. I'll be like, I really like those shoes. Like, hey, where'd you get them? And like, or maybe I'll just pay you for them.
Where'd you get them? Can I pay you for them? It's such
Can
a
I-
low key, like,
can
give
I,
me.
Can I pay you for these shoes? And at the end, I'm like, oh, we forgot. We already packed up all our stuff. Sorry. I'm like, no.
Oh, they're like, Emily is gunning for those shoes.
Like, I'm
Put
really
them
enjoying
away.
this movie, but every day I'm just thinking about when we're done and can I have those shoes?
This is so sad. On the movie I'm doing right now, like wardrobe gave me Uggs. There's like 2 women in this movie to wear in between, whatever.
Sure.
I'm like, I've never owned a pair of name brand Uggs.
Are you getting into it?
I have them now.
Are you wearing them
I
now?
took
No.
them. I was like, can I have them? They're like, yeah, just take them. And I've been
Really
like,
comfy.
they're comfy, and it's just sad that at 35, I'm like, can I have my own Uggs?
Yeah.
Can I have these Uggs? I'll take them with me. I'll bring them back. I promise.
I wore my Uggs with my jean skirt, which I'm wearing a jean skirt now. They're coming back apparently, but in like high school, it was like Uggs and a jean skirt.
Wait, they're coming back because
jean skirts.
I bought one months ago. I didn't know that they were gone.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know
They've been
fashion.
out.
Have you seen what I'm wearing?
You look adorable. You look adorable. She looks awful, you guys. When she came in, I was like, what is that about? At Emily Bilg says, I have a very manipulative friend who never takes ownership of her actions.
Bye.
That's it, folks. Have a great night. And she treated me poorly throughout college.
Bye.
4 years.
Yikes.
I'm really lacking in confidence. Aw. So when she lies to me, I always tell her I believe her. When I really don't, to avoid further confrontation. How do I work up the courage to cut toxic people out of my life?
Ooh, that's a really hard one. And that's, I feel like, a lesson that you learn slowly. Like, you kind of put off, like, dealing with people that aren't healthy for you. And then, like, in my mid-20s, I'm now like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for you. And just slowly wane off. And it's tough. And it hurts. But, like, if it's better for you at the end of the day, like, I'm sorry, but it's about you. Like, you have to keep yourself sane and good.
It
And
is
like,
about you.
it's totally about you.
You have to be selfish.
Yeah.
And
that's okay.
It's okay, especially as women. It's like, why aren't you being a good friend and a good role model and it's just
I'm
like,
being a good me right now. I don't have time.
there you go. Also, you were friends with her through college, so that sucks because you obviously have a foundation.
Yeah.
I always think everything comes down to like that masculine, feminine sort of energy and the idea that like she's treating you like an abusive boyfriend would.
I was thinking that when you were reading it.
Yeah.
It
And
feels like a relationship that you'd have with a boyfriend.
yeah, I had a friend and we'd been friends for a while and I don't think she's ever bought me a cup of coffee. It's always like, let's split it down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And she would never, it's interesting, she would never like do me a favor. Like if she were up, I'd be like, can you grab something? I don't think she would ever like, there's this like weird wall.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, and the liberty she would take as a friend, you know, stuff like that. I want to be like, dude, I'm not trying to fuck you. So be a better friend.
There's also the 5-question game.
What are the 5 questions?
It's something somebody told me this years ago, and I've hung on to it because it's such a good thing to do. It doesn't matter if you're like you're on a date or you're with a friend or you're with a family member or something. It's like if you can ask someone 5 questions about themselves or like 5 questions in general, and they don't reciprocate.
Oh.
It's like a really good sign of like, oh, you're about you. So it's not like, what'd you have for breakfast? And how'd you get here? And what freeway did you take? It's like, no, like, how's it going with so-and-so?
Yeah.
Like, okay. And how's your new place? And if you can get to 5, it's like a very telling thing that they haven't been like, oh, but not to be like, oh, ask me something. But like, it's a back and forth conversation. And I've caught that a few times.
I'm that friend. I never ask back. I swear.
Well, there you go.
I always think, oh, this person, like, my life's so interesting. They actually want to know about my life. It never occurs to me
To be like,
To
hey,
ask-
how are you?
ask back.
Yeah, ask back. That's a good one.
Oh, I have to remind myself. Like, I have to be like, oh, yeah, this person's not just asking because you're amazing. And, like,
Well, you are, but
I appreciate that, but I also, it's like, yeah, now ask them about their brother, and you can both
Yeah.
snore through these answers. The answer is you need to tell her exactly how you feel.
Yes.
And if she's not willing to change, that's not your friend. Like,
yeah.
there's, I'm sure, you know what? If I Googled you right now, I'm sure it wouldn't just all be you and your iguana. Like, I'm sure you have friends. So
Yeah.
cut her out because it's only going to get worse.
Yep.
And you also might find that, like, you're her rock.
Yeah.
Like, she can treat you like shit because she loves you so much, and you need to let her know, like
I
this is-
deserve better.
I'm
than
not
that.
ugly.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Because hot girls always treat their ugly friends like whatever.
Do they?
Not always. I should not have said that. But there is that hierarchy of like, well, I'm the hot one, so we'll do what I want.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. You're like, that's because
I'm
you
just
are the hot one.
I'm just the loudest one, so I usually get my way. I'm like, we're going here now.
But
We're
it's
leaving.
But also, girls love that because, like, finally somebody else playing it. But there
Yeah.
is that sort of like, I decide what we do. I've seen it in other friend groups, like where I'm not the alpha, like it's someone else's friend group.
Uh-huh.
I went with this group of girls somewhere. I'm not going to give anything away. And like, it was one girl and like 3 of her friends and then me. And so we all decided to do something. And I wanted to do one thing and they didn't want to. So it's not about a democratic thing. It was like, well, you know, Stacy doesn't want to, so we don't care what you want.
Wow.
So there's nothing democratic. There was no poll taken. So
Yikes.
the answer is your friend's treating you like she's like you're ugly, and you need to cut that shit out.
Yeah. Be honest.
Be honest with yourself and with her, and you'll reap benefits. I have this answer. The second I read this, I was like, oh my god, I have my answer, and I wish I'd given you a heads up on this because you might want to think about this.
Okay.
But we can always pause. What songs are your anthem? Like the song that gets you. I'm sorry. Where's the name for this person? Sarah_Elizabeth28 says, what song is your anthem? Like the song that gets you feeling yourself, and it says, and you belt at the top of your lungs like a dying cow with the windows up in your car at a red light, and the old guy in the car next to you just shakes his head at you. Like, what's your anthem?
First one would be Your Time Is Gonna Come by Led Zeppelin. It's a really good one.
Can you sing it? We own the rights.
It's got a very long intro, and there's like,
it
Your
famous?
time is gonna come. It's like a bunch of drums. It's great.
Is that like to yourself, like my time's coming, or like you fucked me over,
Your time's gonna come. It's
Which
like,
one is
you.
it?
No, it's the other way. It's like, Your time is gonna come.
a
Yeah.
vengeful anthem.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. For
I
those of you that
just
didn't
flipped
see,
off
she
this
just
right.
flipped off the whole studio with like a crazy look.
And then the other one is probably Secondhand News by Fleetwood Mac. I really like that one too.
Can you sing the chorus?
I got secondhand news. I got secondhand news. Do you know that song?
That's right, because you're a
Yeah.
singer.
Kind of.
That's right. You have new. Do you have new? Some people ask about new music coming
Yeah,
out.
I do. I have a new band called Bluebird. And I'm working on it right now. I've got first singles coming out in probably January, February.
Is it
next
called
year.
"Fuck You"? You cut in front of me at Starbucks.
Yes. No, it's called Black Coffee Morning.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's like I'm calling it like jazzy bedroom pop.
Can you sing? Is that so shitty? Don't do it.
I can't really because it's like
This is your music.
the chorus is mostly like it's a horn section. It
Do you want me
doesn't.
to do the horns?
Yes, will you do the horns?
I can't believe I just said, "Can you sing a little bit?" Because that's like people are like, "Tell us some of your jokes." I'm so sorry.
No,
but I think
it's
singing,
fine.
Can
It's
you
like
sing a little bit.
I'll
start.
I can't really.
If you don't, I will. And then people are gonna
say
think it's your song.
it's a black coffee morning on the east side.
It's a black coffee morning on the east side.
That was it. That was perfect.
I got my singing it. I won't make you sing it. I won't ask you to sing it. I like that both of your songs, and even Black Coffee Morning is like very sobering. Like it's black coffee. We got to get up. Something happened.
It was about a relationship I had earlier this year. All of the Bluebird. It's a band. It's me. I'm writing everything. But
You are the bluebird.
I am the Bluebird. But I was tired of releasing music under my name because the music I've released under my name isn't very like representative of what I'm doing now. It's very different. So
Like a lot of death metal.
Yes, huge departure. And
Departure.
and so a lot of these songs are kind of like in diary form. It's like about relationships that I've had in the past. And this one, it was about a guy that would like get up and drink coffee every morning, and then just like the BS would just spill after the coffee. Not literally, but like
I was like,
just,
coffee will do that to you.
He would have coffee, and then it would just it would just be word vomit like for hours about his life and about his childhood, about his past.
It's just like the caffeine got in him. He would
yeah,
just talk.
And he would just talk, and it would just be like, please stop. Like, I understand you had a traumatic upbringing, but like, we don't have to talk about it every time we're at dinner with my friends. Like,
you know what, Emily? That's really interesting because when I heard Black Coffee Morning, I was like, okay, sobering. Last night was crazy. You got to get to work. But yours is like this dude that I dated that would not stop talking about himself.
Stop talking about himself.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know we dated. That's amazing. But the other two were like, I like that because usually when I think anthem, it's like, this is my fight song or like something like that.
No, this one, and then like a lot of Zeppelin songs.
Okay,
definitely a lot of Zeppelin songs. Oh yeah, because I sing all of the guitar like along with the guitar.
Can I
Not
hear it?
necessarily. Like they'll do that in my car. And you know what's funny is even if you roll up the windows all the way, someone can still hear you. Depending on how loud you're singing, because I've been like, no one can hear me, and then I look over and there's someone like staring directly into my
I
car.
find most people don't mind. Like I've looked over and like someone's like feeling themselves, as this girl said, and I think most people are like, yeah, I'm fucking feeling myself.
Yeah,
get over it.
Oh, another great anthem.
Yes,
Deborah by Beck. Do you know that song?
No.
Oh man,
I feel like you have a superior music taste. I have garbage.
Oh,
music
it's so Deborah. I think it's either 6 or 7 minutes long.
Oh my God.
It's a song off this album called Midnight Vultures, which is like one of my favorite albums by Beck, and it's basically an ode to this woman that he meets in a department store, and the tagline, and your sister, I think her name's Deborah, and it's like so jazzy and like just
lovely
it's like
voice.
dirty and great. It's amazing.
Oh my God.
And he references Glendale in the song, which I love because I'm from Glendale.
So how's it anthemic? Like, is it like you're like?
He hits these notes that no human being should be able to hit.
So for you, it's about the actual music.
Oh yeah,
Okay, so
totally.
just make sure.
I used to ride around campus and like with the windows down, and anybody that was like, "Yeah, Deborah," I'd be like, "You're my new friend."
It's me, Debbie.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my answer.
Okay.
So you're asking like feeling yourself. So you can take this like for you. You're like, these songs just make me feel good because of the way they're constructed. Not necessarily always the message. Some of them are. I am the kind of person like, and I've talked about this. I wake up with a jingle. Like I wake up at 6 a.m. and I'm like, oh, there's a jingle in my head from the 90s. Like there is a constant loop of utter bullshit just in my head. Songs, lyrics, movie quotes, of stuff that like the B side of a tape, like movies that nobody cares. These are not cool movie quotes, songs. I have had stuck in my head for several years now. That Ludacris song where the one that's like, I wanna lick you from your head to right.
Toe, yeah.
So we all dance to that. The part where he goes,
Oh no.
eating fresh fruit, sweep your woman right off of her feet. I wake up to just eating fresh fruit. And I'll sing it to my eating fresh fruit. Because, like, as a rapper, that's, like, hard.
I bet you're a joy to live with.
Oh, my poor
Massive
husband.
amounts of energy. That's me.
Oh, my God. My husband's like, the amount of songs I know just from you singing them, but don't know the actual song.
Yeah.
And I listen to, like, a lot of EDM, so a lot of it's just hamster noises. Like,
Sure.
I don't even know the words. And then he sings them. But I can't Google, like, I want to feel, I want to know what's the hamster voice song.
There was a while where Tenacious D in high school, everybody loved Tenacious D. It was Jack Black's band.
Zanzibar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a lot of just gruesomely, like, violently sexual songs in that album. And, like, we would roll around in high school and, like, sing them all, like, what was the, what's the, starts with a T, Tribute. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Play the best song in the world or I'll eat your soul. And then, like, he does this whole thing. He has a battle with a monster in the song.
It's like oddly
ridiculous.
metal.
It's kind,
guitar.
That one sometimes gets in my head.
You know, you were too young for this. I can't believe I just said that. Or maybe you weren't.
I just said my anthems were.
No, that's different. You weren't around for that.
That's
you just
true.
found it. 'Cause my sister's like 21 and she's like, oh my God, David Bowie. And as an older person, I was like, I don't even know David Bowie, but I like music from before. So it's accessible, whatever.
Yeah. I love David
Bloodhound
Bowie.
Gang.
Okay.
Did you ever listen to that? I guess you were way too young. If you're 26 now, you're 10 years younger than me. So Bloodhound Gang before Tenacious D, they were like those very aggressive, sexual.
It's so funny.
You know what song they have? And
What?
it came out later. You and me, baby,
Ain't nothing but
But
mammals.
before
Yeah,
that, like I went to a concert of theirs in high school, and I flashed everyone, and nobody cared. I like stuck my hand down the bassist pants. 'Cause, like
You were were you on stage?
No, which is weird. No, they let us on stage, and he didn't even bat an eye. Like, because you're like 18, you're like, what can I do? And it was like, why would I do that? Like, I felt like a weird. Like, that's also assault. I'm just remembering this now. But they had all these songs, like where they had one song called Chasey Lane, where they wrote to a porn star about eating his ass.
Wow.
Like, so
Wow.
it predated that music, but it's still
see.
that very sexual, aggressive, super gross.
Oh, also Robin. Robin's a good one. I like her.
She just put out some new music.
She takes like 10 years in between albums. I love it.
It's because she's Scandinavian. And
She's
she's like, I'll just
amazing.
relax. I'm having fun. Siza Jazzle.
Size of Jazzle.
Siza Jazzle. 7 says, there's 6 others for you. What could you give a 30-minute presentation on with absolutely no preparation? My answer, everything. I'm a brilliant bullshitter, orator, and I know a little bit about most things. What do you think?
God, that's really hard. How to get A to B in Los Angeles. Fastest way to get anywhere in LA.
Think so?
Don't test me.
I was about to.
I think just in terms of like, just because I grew up in Glendale, which is in the Valley, and then my parents live in like the Pasadena area now, and like I moved
Still
to the-
same side of town.
kind of, yeah, East Side, and then went to college sort of in a weird place in LA, and then like I'm always on the West Side doing work, and like I know Venice kind of well, and so like I feel like I know LA pretty well, and I can probably tell you like good places to eat depending on where you are.
Good bagel, West Adams, go.
West Adams. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I've never
Yeah,
hung out in West
Emily.
Adams.
Yeah, you shouldn't have come here.
Too far south, right?
Yeah, I guess it is south.
Yes.
Okay, 30-minute. It would be such a boring presentation, and if you don't live in LA, you'd be
Noah's
like,
Bagels on Larchmont. That's a good place for bagels.
I think it's dirty.
Really? Don't you want a little dirty bagel?
Little dirty bagel. Get on that dirty bagel.
Oh, it's an old dirty bastard's son. Old dirty bagel.
Old dirty bagel. He's Jewish. No one knew that. All right, we're going to round it out with this last one. XX, whoa, get your porn ready. XX_Ashley says, what's your least favorite thing about the holiday season?
Oh, least favorite thing.
Now, you had mentioned you have a big family.
I do have a big family.
Swiss family.
A big Swiss family, Osmondson, yes. But most of my family lives actually on the East Coast and in the South, so I don't have a lot of them. My immediate family, my mom and my dad and my brother and I, the 4 of us do holidays every year, which is great. So it's not an overwhelming like 50 people for Thanksgiving. I host Thanksgiving and Christmas at my house, and I do like a big Friendsgiving for Thanksgiving, which is cool. But the prep for Thanksgiving is not my favorite.
Do you cook?
I cook everything.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So, okay.
So it's a lot. And I've only got one oven, and it's just like you're hot and you're sweaty in the kitchen, and you forgot the heavy whipping cream, and I have to go out for one thing.
One thing.
And last year I made the mistake of like needing one item the day before Thanksgiving or maybe even on Thanksgiving, and I saw this poor girl on the phone in the aisle like crying to her boyfriend, mother, father, or whatever, and just like, I don't know where it is. I can't find it. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I've been to 4 stores. And I just like pointed on the shelf. I was like, it's right there. And she was like, thank you. And like cried and grabbed it and ran out. I was like, that's the holidays, everyone.
Yeah.
She
sounds awesome.
Yeah, she was very stressed out.
So that was your least favorite thing about the holiday?
Yeah, Thanksgiving prep.
Favorite thing to cook? Brooke Meglin. Ask Emily her favorite thing to cook. They demanded it. Ask Emily, and then they wrote #Young and Hungry. We know you watch the show.
Okay.
So let's make it like holiday-wise. What's your favorite thing to cook?
I make a really good sausage stuffing. It's like sweet Italian sausage stuffing.
In the bird? It
No,
goes
no,
in the
no.
bird?
Oh my God, no! But I should put it in the bird.
No, don't put it in the bird.
No, like
That's
a
unholy.
separate side, like stuffing.
Okay.
But I do it with sausage. It's really, really good.
Tasty.
Tasty with like apples and stuff, and it's delicious.
Okay. And then what? Independent of a holiday, what do you like to cook?
Oh, independent of a holiday. My brother and I grill Korean barbecue. It's really
like at the table.
I have a grill in my backyard, and we have people over, and we grill this
You make, like,
amazing Korean barbecue. Yeah, it's really good. That's my favorite thing.
That sounds okay.
Come over. It's fun.
I was gonna say, can I be invited?
Yes.
My husband and I love Korean
Isn't
barbecue.
your husband a chef?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he is there to judge you.
Well,
No,
then he can do it. Great.
no, he actually loves other people. He's like, great.
I'm
I don't-
sure. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. I will come over. Do you have a house?
I do.
I love going to other people's houses and touching their things.
I got a little backyard. It's
Like, come over. I
nice.
want to see your backyard.
Okay.
Last question. Actually, no, this is tangentially related to the holidays. And this is great because you're a singer. Keep calm _ carry on. But you spelled carry on like
Like a carry-on on an airplane?
no, like a bird eats, like carry on.
Oh,
like a rat.
CARION?
Okay, I guess that is how it's spelled. So I think
No,
you're
I
right.
think I'm
Nope.
wrong.
No, you're right. I think it's just looking at CARYON together. You're right.
Carry on.
You're right.
Okay.
Carry on, my wayward bird. Keep calm _ carry on 325 says, what is the worst Christmas song of all time that makes you angry? We're talking
Santa Baby.
Oh, great call.
I hate Santa Baby.
You had that locked and loaded.
I hate Santa Baby.
Tell us why.
It's so suggestive and weird and like oddly sexual, and I don't want to think about Santa like that, even though I know Santa's. Like, she's like
Mistress.
asking for a 54 convertible to light blue. It's like, die. I hate it.
Also, like light blue is like a tacky color.
It is, yes.
That's a great call.
As I'm wearing it.
No, that's it. It's your bluebird uniform.
That's true.
I think most people's answer would be that's a great. I mean, that's mine. I'm going to steal that. That's my
Please,
answer.
it's
most
awful.
people would be the
Santa
baby. It's cold outside.
baby. It's like Marilyn Monroe doing the Happy Birthday, Mr. President.
Yes.
It's a little bit of that.
Who sings the original one?
I feel bad. I hope she's
Hope she's
not
dead, is
listening.
what you're gonna
no,
say?
I was not going to
Yes,
say
you
that.
were.
I was not.
Yeah, you were. The one that I think most people have a problem with is the like baby. It's cold outside because that's about
Oh,
date assault.
date rape. Yeah.
Yes, which I thought
What's
I came up
in
with.
this drink? It's like, what
You're
is
hurting
in
my
this
throat.
drink?
I can't see out of my eye.
What's my real name? I've forgotten my place.
I don't like. First of all, everyone knows Jews write the best Christmas songs.
Uh-huh.
They're all written by Jews. I don't love, and I love Christmas, and I love
Me too.
like hearing the music, but past December 25th, it's like turn it off.
Yeah.
Like it's so much. I don't like Silver Bells.
Oh, it's a little slow.
It sounds like someone's on a quaalude.
I'm never going to listen to it the same way again.
He's drunk, and I don't like. Okay,
It's Christmas time. It's just so,
Yeah.
it's so long too. It's a long one.
it's long. It's like a bath that you want to get out of, and
A bath of silver bells.
a bath of Silver Bells. They're sharp. I don't like when they. I don't like the little drummer boy because I don't like when they say parumpa pum pum. What is that?
What the fuck? I'm gonna get a shirt made for you that just says
Please do. Because it reminds me of the cowardly lion from Wizard of Oz. Like, put him up, put him up. He's like,
Yeah.
pum 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 pum. And like, you can't look hot and say parum pum pum.
I can't do it.
It's like, it's so uncomfortable for me. Everyone driving now is like singing parum pum pum. It's so fucking weird. Rum pum pum pum.
Oh, the roll, yeah. Pum. I hate myself suddenly. I hate
Yeah.
it. I do. I really hate it.
All right, and the last piece, the last thing to round this out, because there are a lot of questions specifically to you, and I was so excited so many of your fans wrote in.
Yay.
Last question is,
I didn't even see the where to. I would have written in something weird for you to ask me.
oh, do you want to answer that? Do you want to answer something weird?
No, like I can't think of anything now. But at home in bed
You're
when
like,
I'm
the answer
on
is
Twitter,
extra
could've-
small.
Yeah.
What is something, keep calm and carry on, says, what is something you would tell your younger self trying to make it in Hollywood? It says into Hollywood.
Sleep more.
Okay.
Oh man. So when I was a kid, a tiny tot, when I was about 12 or 13, I started working on a Disney show
Called.
Hannah Montana.
Because there's a question about that too.
Oh.
Which I should have asked you earlier.
It was awesome and great, and but it was also like the most stressful time of my entire life because I was working on that,
Right.
and then I was also in high school, and you're also like 15 and crazy, and there's acne
so-
and boys and bangs that you cut yourself, and like it's just
Oh,
terrifying.
wait, that doesn't extend like into your 30s? Because that was me at like 32. Okay.
It's really tough. And I remember like trying to get into college and like studying for my SATs, and like I just didn't sleep. Like I would get, and we lived far away from the studio where we shot, so it was just
And you went to college.
And I went to college, yeah. And it was just very, very, very stressful. And then I got to college, and they're like, read 10 pages and then take a nap.
Where did you go to college?
Occidental College.
You know what? I can't get over it at 35 when people tell me about schools that they went to that I applied to and didn't get into. Like I get a little
Did you apply
prickly.
to Occidental?
I applied everywhere, Emily, and didn't get in anywhere. Maybe if I was on Hannah Montana, people would give me a second look. There's a question in here. Somebody, Dat asks 99.
Woof.
Is your process different when preparing for a role such as the one you had in Cyberbully as opposed to the ones for Hannah Montana and Young and Hungry? Well, she was 10 for Hannah Montana, so that's going to be a lot different.
Yeah.
But we'll go, and I'll even extend it, Young and Hungry. Somebody also, I'm going to put this all into one.
Okay.
Looney Yuri says, how cool is it to work with Alan Arkin and Kirk Douglas on the Kominsky Method? So maybe just real quick, we can round it out with how you prepared for Cyberbully versus all of these things.
Yes. I think probably the hardest preparation I've had to do for anything was for Cyberbully for sure, because that was a movie I did for ABC Family about, how old am I? That was about, I think, like 7 years ago or so. And it was about a girl who is suicidal in high school and tries to kill herself, and she's got this friend that's kind of toying with her that we find out is the person who's toying with her online, and it's gnarly. And for ABC Family at the time, like, it was cyberbullying wasn't like a thing we talked about yet, because the internet was still like, Instagram hadn't happened yet. Like, this is
pre-freeform. This is before they dip their toe.
Pre-freeform. Oh, you're a freeform lady.
All right, it's Top of the Cob. Hit it.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite. Top of the cob.
Top of the Cob. Emily Osment, star of Young and Hungry, on the Kominsky Method here on Netflix. Bluebird, new music coming out, or it's out?
It's coming out next year.
Out. Okay. Multi-talented girl, beautiful woman, very funny, very sweet. I'm really glad that we're friends. I'm really glad that you did this.
Me too.
It's at Emily Osment. I'm taking care of all the business before we get into Top of the Cob. At Emily Osment on Twitter. Let her know you're going to promote the show because you're a good person.
Yes.
But let her know how much fun you had here. And don't look for her naked pictures because they don't exist. What is your Top of the Cob?
Thing that I love, Top of the Cob. We were talking about this earlier. Matinee movies by myself.
Very evolved. Can you go a little bit more into it?
I like the ritual of like not having to share my snacks with someone and just going in, and like the theater's kind of empty, and it's a movie that like maybe nobody else wanted to see with me, but I really wanted to see it. And it's like a couple hours for me,
I love that. And what type of barbecue do you smuggle in?
Pinot Noir. No.
What's your go-to movie snack?
Movie snack? Probably. I'm not a big popcorn person, actually. But I'll do like either peanut M&Ms or Milk Duds.
Okay, that's a very specific type of person.
Yes.
That's not I'm not that person, but okay.
It's me.
Tasty. And what's your bottom of the cob?
Ooh, people who talk during movies. We'll keep it in the same vein.
You've eliminated that threat by going alone, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Well, no, not no. No one I bring to a movie with me ever speaks. They know. They know not to. You don't talk during a film.
My husband spoke so loud to me on our first date, and I knew I liked him because I thought it was funny. I was like, "This is you're funnier than what's happening on the
screen." Is it like one of these whispers, like here, but it's like not like this? It's still got like some.
He was like making his own jokes, and I was like, "You're so pumped to be on a date with me." This is adorable.
I got in a fight with somebody in a theater one time.
See, I knew it
during Get Out. Yeah,
I knew you had
this girl like brought in a 7-Eleven jug of wine that's like at the ArcLight, which they serve alcohol in the theater. You can go out and buy your own glass of wine or whatever. But whatever. I can't believe you got in with it, but okay. And she's like, and Get Out, like it's scary, but it's not like jump out and scare you kind of stuff.
Right.
And anytime anyone came on screen, she would scream and then laugh.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, I was just like, I'm done. And like they were in the very front row, and I was with a bunch of people, and they kept yelling and screaming. And it's like, I love going to I'll see everything in the theater. I go to the movies all the time. And I like the ArcLight because there's like this upstanding, which I don't know if the listeners don't know. It's kind of like a nicer movie theater in LA, and you have assigned seating, and there's really gourmet snacks, and you have to. Yeah.
I hate the snacks. Chicken apple sausage?
What
Like, go
is
fuck
the
yourself.
yeah, and then like the weird like mustard sauce. That
Don't like it.
They have like pretzel sticks now. They're odd.
Too much.
But yeah, so and then I kind of I stood up.
Okay.
I stood up and I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, you're ruining the experience for everyone." And then a couple people clapped. And then I sat back down. And then she got even louder.
What a bitch.
And then as I was walking in the theater, she yelled at me and she was like, I think you forgot to take your Xanax today. And I was like, yes, I did. Bye. Like,
Sorry. No, this interaction is over. You don't get to
Yeah.
chirp at me now that you have balls.
Yeah.
I talk a big game, but I probably wouldn't have said anything. But that, yeah, sometimes you just hit a breaking point.
I
Much
was like, I can't. I really wanted to see it. And like, you're ruining it for me.
yeah, what a bitch.
Yeah.
You hit a breaking point, much like I did with my bottom of the cob when I was in the Delta Lounge this weekend at JFK, and I noticed how much plastic they use.
I was just there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was there yesterday morning, and I just noticed hundreds and hundreds of people come in every morning, and it's all single-use plastic, spoons, forks. There's no recycling anywhere.
Oh my God, you're right.
And it bothers me because I just watch people take like a sip, throw it away, take another sip of another thing, throw it away.
And it's those tiny plastic
Yes.
see-through cups with the water that you go up to the water jug and
That you would
fill
get at
it
like a
up.
reception.
Yeah, and then you throw them away.
And I was like, I don't want to shame them. I don't like that I can't say anything without people being like, that's annoying. But it's like, that's so much garbage. You don't even have a sign up that says, please think about your choices.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and they had glasses available like under the counter.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that was my bottom of the cob, just noticing how much, just when your eyes are open to the amount of waste. So the good news is, like, I try to be better about it as I drink out of a plastic bottle. My top of the cob is matcha. I gave it a real chance this weekend at this adorable shop in New York called Cha-Cha Matcha. And I like the nuttiness of it. And I think I'm going to get my own whisk and
Start making some
sorry,
matcha.
I don't feel well. I get really into it. I had tuna. Emily Osment, thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you.